Can you repeat yourself?
What was I doing when you doing that?
You were talking.
When you were spraying my meat with weird spray?
Yes, I was spraying.
Yeah, with the sour.
Spraying your meat with weird spray because this is what you think. This is how we're opening podcast now. I am with my crazy co-host right now. We got Sasquatch incarnate Jason Smith.
Of everyone who's going to be a Sasquatch, why do you pick me for that?
We got the Loch Ness Monster himself, Josh Quinn.
Can I get about 350?
No.
Oh,
And we got Momo over there. Thanks again.
I love Momo.
He loves Momo.
He loves Momo.
Today, Josh is bringing us a story, and if I go on a tangent on this episode, I think you listeners owe us 12 six-packs of beer. And that's Pecatonica beer, because we're drinking Pecatonica. We're drinking Tremens. We are drinking Pecatonica. We are drinking pickle beer. We are drinking Pecatonica. We're drinking hams. We're drinking Corbel. We're drinking everything. But Josh, let's hear that story. I heard you're bringing us to the nice Viking country of Minnesota. Is that correct?
Yep, this is coming from the OK state of Minnesota. Can you guys tell me if you have ever heard of a place called the Devil's Kettle?
No.
Can't say that I have.
So,
I'm tired.
he's not interested in my story. I guess I'm just going to go home. Oh, wait, I'm already home. So I'm going to tell the story.
We record in a very cool studio in the
North Shore of Minnesota.
It is on the North Shore of Minnesota near Lake Superior. It's in the northeastern part of Minnesota.
I'm just saying, if anyone's got some time to drive up 61, that is a beautiful, beautiful place. And while you're in Duluth, you could check out a little ship that we talked about a bit earlier, too.
And maybe if you go to Kansas, you can find the Hamburger Man.
No Hamburger Man.
Oh, man.
And don't forget that Minnesota is the top part of Mimal.
Evil Mimal.
Evil Mimal.
Yeah.
Very evil. Very evil.
All right, Josh, what happened at the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota?
So the Devil's Kettle is part of a waterfall that splits off from the Brule River. Not related to Dr. Steve Brule.
Or
He likes
not
broats.
about the Brule River in Michigan either.
Not about the what? Why are there two of them?
Etienne Brule, my dude.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means
You
either.
need to know your history of the North.
No,
I
we
guess.
don't. No,
we don't. No.
Future episode.
So the Devil's Kettle is a large pit that half of the Brule River splits off to and crashes into in a large, very majestic waterfall. The only problem is there isn't actually a recorded bottom to this waterfall.
No bottom.
Yeah, what does that mean, Josh?
So,
Bottomless.
oh! Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
So,
That was you.
the Devil's
Really?
Kettle is what is described as a cauldron of bubbling water that descends into the earth. That the earliest recording of settlers
What year
described
was that?
Whenever they found it,
early 1800s.
Wow.
Mine was older.
No.
No.
I'm on air.
So,
Okay.
so
Okay, Tyler, stop smelling
the Devil's
microphone.
Kettle diverts about approximately half of the Brule River into a bottomless cauldron in the earth. And for basically the past 80 years, locals have been throwing random things into the river,
Oh,
and they haven't been able to.
this isn't a river. This is the hole, or is it a river?
It's like a
It's a
river
hole
into
in
a
a river.
waterfall that goes into a hole.
Isaac's getting up to
In
go
what
by
state?
He's
Josh.
trying to cheat off of my notes.
In what state?
It's
Isaac.
in Minnesota.
Oh, this isn't what I heard of. I'm gonna sit back down.
Well, Isaac, after Josh talks, I have another story about a little hole myself.
That never gets filled.
It's his
Oh,
butthole.
that's true.
Is that what we're gonna talk about?
I am going to talk about
Is that
this.
not what he's talking about? But I've heard of a hole that never gets filled.
Yeah.
Two magic
I've got a lot
holes.
of them.
It's called a segue. We're leading into that.
No,
The-
it's called a date.
Hey, remember what happened to the Segway guy?
He
Yeah, he
went off a
What
cliff.
off a hole?
he was like the president of Segway, not the guy who made it.
Yeah, and he didn't. Fill
I
that
said
hole.
the Segway guy.
Are
I
you
didn't
eating
say
cheese
the
curd?
president
All right,
of
anyway.
Segway.
Minnesota hole.
Minnesota hole. So basically, in this Minnesota hole, it became so popular to throw random objects into it that the local DNR actually started restricting access
Can't
to
do
the
that.
location, even though everything they threw in the hole never showed back up, which is a mystery. And then on top of all of that, in the late 2010s, so around 2017, 2018, the DNR actually dedicated quite a bit of money to try to figure out what happens to the water that splits off from the Brule River. They basically dropped a bunch of GPS trackers down it. They dropped dye down it. There was a lot of theories about maybe it goes into a vast underground cave system. Maybe it somehow connects to Lake Superior, like miles away. And basically all that happened was they lost track of all of the dye and all of the GPS trackers.
And I do believe they threw a bunch of ping pong balls
They did. They
down there.
dumped like 10,000 ping pong balls down this waterfall,
Sounds like it's not good for the environment.
and none of
Thank
them
you,
showed up
Jason.
again.
It affects the trout population.
I think the trout learned how to play ping pong.
So we're going to ask, what do you think about that? Oh, just kidding. Hey, because we're going to talk about another hole. So Josh, you told your story about
Wait,
this
we're doing
Minnesota hole.
This is like a two-parter?
This is like a 2 to 3-parter. So
Yeah.
we're just talking about big holes now.
So
baby.
it turns out there's a lot of magic mystery holes.
So
in the
Josh and I
US.
were talking yesterday.
I know big holes.
Yes, Isaac, you know
What's
big
her
holes.
name?
Kevin.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway, so one of the most famous stories about a
he's
Hole.
crying now.
I shouldn't have
a
said
hole that doesn't get filled or a bottomless pit is Mel's Hole. So have you guys heard of Coast to Coast AM?
Yes.
Yep.
Everybody here
Probably
has.
to be shut down.
Well, no, it's not NPR.
It's different.
Yeah, it's not that. So
NPR.
So back in the day, Art Bell, one of his most famous interviews with this guy named Mel, he lived in Washington, and he had this hole that was basically described as a well on his property. So the whole thing was 9 feet wide by 9 inches.
Okay,
Or
that's
9 feet 9.
That's a lot smaller than the Devil's Cauldron.
Oh, okay. But this thing was basically, it had a wall of bricks basically going down, and then it just went straight down. Before he bought this property in Washington, his neighbor said, like, yeah, we just throw our stuff down there. So like my
So
dishwasher breaks.
it's not a drinking well.
It's just like a,
empty,
it's
a
just-
dried up well.
So it's like a old cistern in your front yard.
it looks like an old cistern in your front yard, but you use it to just throw your trash down.
So you don't get drinking water from it.
No,
It's not that.
no, they didn't get drinking water from it. So people use it as a trash well. And then one day he was like, well, he was an avid fisherman. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to see how deep this hole is. So he took fishing line and a 1 pound weight. He had 4,000 feet of line, went all the way down the hole, pulled it back up, never hit the bottom. Oh, that's kind of weird.
That's a lot of line.
It's a lot of line.
Line.
So next, he put some lifesavers on the bottom of the line,
Like
Like,
the
oh.
candy.
like the candy, because there might be water down there, right? So he put the line down the well, pulled it back up. The lifesavers were dry. So it's like, okay, there's not water down there. That's weird. It's just straight down.
Wait, so he
he's
let
not-
out
literally. So he's
4,000.
just proving he's not hitting anything at all.
He's not hitting anything.
Yeah.
So then he buys some more fishing line. He's going down, 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 down. He's 16 miles worth of fishing line down. Never hits the bottom of this hole.
How far is the center of the Earth supposed to be?
So
More than 16 miles.
let me just
Fact check, Jason.
interject.
What?
How far is the center of the Earth?
Let me just interject on this.
From here?
The deepest
From the core, from the where we are.
the deepest drill hole ever recorded on Earth was drilled in Russia, and it was only 7.5 miles deep.
Which makes sense because you need a lot of equipment to do that.
And
But it's just
also-
a simple
They
little
say
line.
It's like 3,959 miles on average
Holy
to the
sheep shit.
core.
Yeah, the Earth's big, buddy.
And how
it's a
far
big
was he?
ball.
He was 16 miles down without hitting anything.
Allegedly.
But that's
Allegedly.
really far.
That is very far.
That's almost from here to Verona.
So he was 16 miles down, and that's when he calls Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM. So he calls Art Bell. He has this big story. He tells everything. It's all crazy. After he calls Art Bell, he basically goes back home, and he can't go to his property.
Why not?
The military's there, and they say, hey, there was a plane crash here. You can't come back on your property. He's like, okay, that's kind of weird. So he can't go back onto his property. He's like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah,
Later.
What year was this?
This was in like 1996, 1997.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, so pretty recent. There's also a map website. I think it's called, I don't have my notes out at all right now.
Yeah, he's spinning this off.
There's a map website before Google Maps called like Terraform or something like that, where the location that he said this happened at was blacked out. And they usually only do that for military bases. So this place was blacked out. Then Mel basically got a person told him, hey, the military is going to rent your land out now. You have no choice in the matter for like $3 million a year, and you have to go live somewhere else. You can't live in the U.S. anymore. He took the deal. So he moved to Australia for 2 years, started missing his family. Some reports say he came back for a wedding or something, came back, didn't tell anybody he was coming back. He got in a Greyhound bus, and there's a big fight that broke out on this bus, just randomly. And the police came and questioned everybody, and then all of a sudden he blacked out. 10 days later, he woke up in San Francisco. He had IV marks on his arms, basically like the tape we put the IV in and needle marks.
Yep.
10 days were missing. He also lost all the money in his bank account. He called Art Bell again and said what happened. This happened again. He moved back to the U.S., and then he became like the whole guy, Mel, right? Like he was known for that. In Nevada, a Native American tribe contacted him and said, hey, we have another hole like that here. Would you want to come investigate it? He said, sure. So he came out there. There was a group of semi-nomadic sheep farmers, not the actual natives, but from an area, I think it's between France and Spain. Jason, fact check me. I think it's called the Bashas. Group of people that moved to this place in Nevada, and they found this hole. It was kind of the same thing, except it had a metal collar around it. And it was
Like around the
top of it.
circumference?
Yeah. And then it was really deep. And I forgot to say this about the other hole in the first place, but it basically had pedestals like Stonehenge around it originally, but they were knocked down by someone else that moved there. So it goes to this place in Nevada, and weird things happen. They basically drop ice down this hole, and sometimes it would come up and not melt. It was really, really weird.
What do you mean come up?
They drop the ice down a hole in a bucket, and they bring it back up, and the ice wouldn't melt. It just wouldn't
So
melt.
they used it like a cooler?
Not exactly. The ice would be hot
To be like hot
What?
to the touch. And they said it would feel like styrofoam. It wasn't like ice properties anymore. It would feel like styrofoam.
I am significantly befuddled at this.
So they dropped these things down there, and then this one native guy, he took the ice home in a bucket, put the bucket in a stove, and he would keep his house hot with this bucket.
Wait,
of
so
ice.
they turned ice into coal.
No, it was just X property ice. It was reverse property ice.
So instead of giving off cold, instead of being like endothermic, it became exothermic?
Yes. So his house would get super, super dry. His skin would get dry. He basically, when you boil
Normal winter
water,
in Wisconsin.
when you boil water, he'd watch all the steam come from his kettle
Pot.
or his pot and go right into the stove. It would basically suck in all the moisture.
So
then
this hole made anti-ice.
We'll get to that. So basically what happened later is
Do they drop a gerbil down there?
Or a nuke?
we'll talk about that.
There's a gerbil!
We'll
And a
talk
nuke.
about that. So basically he had this ice in his stove, and then all of a sudden, boom, his stove crashes through the floor.
Heavy.
It got super heavy.
What the hell's wrong with the stove? It
Antimatter.
crashed through this floor. So
Anti-ice.
he's like, oh, whatever. I'll
Gerbils.
leave it on the floor I'm using to heat my
Futurama.
house, whatever.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, it keeps going down, and his house caves in around this hole. Now the stove is about 5 feet into the ground. Perfect hole around it where it's just sinking into the ground.
Cast iron's heavy.
They had to get a crane to get it out of there.
Big crane.
What
Cast
happened
iron.
to the stove?
We'll talk about that later.
They throw it into space?
So they
Space
investigate
stove?
this hole some more. At
That's where
this
that
time,
went?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who put that there?
Jason.
Mel,
It's been a ghost.
he's calling into Coast to Coast every once in a while, and he's like, hey, Art Bell, I have esophageal cancer. It's stage 4. I'm going to die soon. We're going back to the hole. We're going to check this out.
That's because he's whole swallowing.
Well, so this time, I think it's the Basha. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Basques.
Is it the Basha people?
Isn't it the Basques?
I would have figured Basque.
Is it Basque?
It's Basque.
B-A-S-K.
Basques.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Basques.
That's what I would have.
I can't remember the story. Anyway, one of them people are like, hey, well, we're sheep farmers. Let's drop a sheep in. And Mel's like, okay, let's lower a sheep down.
Damn these sheep.
So this hole that you'd have, like you'd chuck a rock down there, it would not vibrate at all. Like basically there's like no sound coming out of it. You never knew where the bottom is. Like they'd shine lasers down there. They do radar. They couldn't find anything. So they lowered the sheep down and then they pulled it back up.
And it was a gerbil.
And the sheep was cooked from the inside out.
Radiation.
Interesting.
Microwave.
Ooh.
Microwave.
They took
Microwave hole.
They took it over to a table. And this is where things get a little weird.
They cut it open.
Isaac's going to
Gerbils
laugh.
came out.
Don't laugh, Isaac.
They fucked the sheep.
They fucked the sheep.
They,
Don't.
they did not do that.
They warmed it from the inside
No.
out.
So
Microwave.
So they had one of the farmers
Their
come
way with
and
it.
tried to butcher it like a regular sheep. So they opened up and they found that it was, cooked from the inside out. Pretty crazy. But then it had this really, really large tumor on the inside of it.
Balls.
It wasn't balls, Isaac.
It was dick and balls.
They cut open the tumor and there was a small seal-like creature in there with human eyes.
Seal.
A seal-like creature with human eyes that looked at all the people standing around there, and everybody talks about it like it was a prophetic experience, like it was like
and then
coming into contact with God.
Then what? It went ort, and
Nope.
jumped back in the hole?
They studied it for about 2 hours. They had it on the table and everything.
How big is small?
I mean, small enough to fit inside of a sheep, but it had human eyes.
I mean, it could still be a few inches big.
I once heard of a grown man who fit inside a sheep, but he won that bet in a bar.
Okay, we don't need to talk about that. So anyway, but they had a feeling that I wanted to go back, though. So they put it by the hole and it jumped in. The native people say they've seen the weird sheep creature every once in a while, like it comes back to visit them. But Mel stopped calling in Art Bell after this last call.
Every time you do a story, the people stop calling in.
Something happened.
Something
where they
happened.
just-
Who still calls into
Maybe
Art Bell?
they didn't.
Art Bell's
pay,
been dead for 10 years.
Maybe they didn't pay their TDS bill.
That's not what I
So
asked.
Art Bell also sent a camera crew
And the seal creature?
to the Washington site and did find that there was a military presence up there.
Did some whole studying.
But anytime someone's went up to visit the hole, it's just not there. Like they can't get on site. There's basically no trespassing signs. A lot of people think that they just paved it over.
Storm the hole.
So that's kind of the story. That's where it ends. It's kind of anticlimactic because, Mel. Oh, I brought up Mel had esophageal cancer, right? Guess who didn't have it after he met the seal creature? He was completely cured of like stage 4 esophageal cancer.
So then how'd he die? Did he fall down a hole?
No one knows if he's dead or not.
Just disappeared.
He just disappeared. He stopped calling Art Bell. Art Bell couldn't get a hold of him. He didn't have that land up in Washington anymore
Mel
because the government had it.
Period.
Mel Waters. How'd you know his last name, Jason?
Seriously, Jason, how'd you do that?
He's fact checking right now.
I know. I don't
I'm
think
really
I
good
said
at
Mel
that.
Waters.
I'm pretty sure you said it before.
But
Mel Waters, as in watering hole, as in the family that owns all of the holes.
so some people think that this whole thing was made up for Coast to Coast. It's good storytelling, and it kind of just got out of hand, so he stopped calling in. Other people think he was maybe silenced by the government because, there was that place up in Washington that was blacked out from that Terra world or whatever the previous Google Maps thing is. But yeah, we talked about the bottomless pit in Minneapolis. We talked about another bottomless pit. I asked Isaac, what do you think? Bottomless pits, what do you think? Do you think there's portals out there? Do you think it's...
Listen, I've been watching a lot of Asian Aliens right now, and a lot of theories suggest that there are some holes on the North and South poles that go into the center of the Earth.
Da 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 da.
where there's a different realm of things. So,
Gartha.
and we have a lot of reports from bona fide military pilots about these areas. Listen,
Okay, I'm talking to Isaac right now, Josh, but
at this point in my life, I can't disagree with any of them. I'm totally open to all of it.
okay.
I totally believe that whether or not there's anything weird in there, I totally believe there's just holes. Look at the Corvette Museum down in...
So you think no matter what, there might be a hole out there that goes somewhere, but it could just be a sinkhole, or it could be a portal to another dimension.
Correct.
Okay, could be either. Josh, what do you think?
Two things. One, first hole, Devil's Kettle. Really interesting that they haven't been able to track where any of the water goes. Could lead to some very intricate super caves underneath Minnesota that nobody wants us to know about, but we'll get to that in a later episode. As for Mel's hole, interdimensional portal in the ground? Nobody pulls ice out of the ground and it's hot.
I forgot to mention one thing about actual Mel's hole. So at Mel's hole, one of his neighbors, his dog died. And what do you do with the dead dog?
Chuck it down the
You throw it down the hole.
That's fucked up.
Can't do that.
Dude,
But the
that's fucked
neighbor
up.
later saw the dog later.
Alive?
Was it alive? But it didn't respond to any calls. It acted
Yeah,
like it
because
didn't
it had
know
a
him.
fucking...
And it didn't have...
Like the zombie
collar
dogs
on.
in Call of Duty.
Sure.
It had
On
a
fire and you pet them.
It had a seal creature in its brain piloting it like an EVA.
I think that's really cute because seals are
David?
cute. Seals are cute.
Yes.
All right, Jason, what do you think?
Seals are cute.
So looking at the Devil's Kettle thing, there were some flow reports from the DNR with the river showing that above the falls and below the falls, it stayed about like the same flow rate. So it's probably just like hitting some rock formation, then like popping out a little bit below.
But none of the dye or GPS trackers make it back into the river.
Well, they can just get like smashed on the rocks on the giant falls and just no longer work. I don't know.
Where does the dye go, Jason?
I don't know if the dye experiment actually did go through or not.
So that's for the Minnesota hole, but what do you think
Or
about
did
the other holes?
Minnesota
Tell us about Mel's hole.
What do you think about my holes, Jason?
Homeboy
Don't ask that
didn't know
question.
anything about Etienne Brule, so shame.
That you made that up.
No, he's a real French explorer from the 1600s.
Unless he's the guy who walked off the ship with the two pistols and shot him in the air, that's the only one I care about.
No, but I'm just saying...
Lewis and Clark.
That was not
allegedly-
Lewis and Clark.
I'm just saying, if I ran into Nevada, ran into a bunch of Spanish
Nevada Bobs?
folk who were sheep farmers, and the only evidence that we had about a sheep getting baked alive with a fetal seal thing in it just got thrown back into the hole. I don't know if I really believe that one. I feel like this is...
So that's in Nevada. So that's the second hole. What
I know.
about Mel's hole on his...
No, that's hole 3.
I'm just... Well, yeah.
I don't like those pictures, Tab. Those
I
are
feel like
creepy.
Mel has gotten into this very long thing of making up holes.
Okay,
and
okay, cool. That's what Jason thinks, and
I
that
make up every
segues...
hole
Shut
I'm
me down
talking about.
fast.
That
because
segues into
you don't
what I
like I'm
think.
saying.
Tyler.
No, that segues perfectly into what I
Tyler,
think.
what you think?
So I don't think Mel was necessarily making this up because he could have profited off of this. Right? Like he could have been like selling t-shirts. Oh, I went to Mel's hole and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. He
Don't
didn't
look at his
profit.
hole.
He didn't profit at all off of this, but he didn't have a lot of evidence either. And the stories are kind of crazy, but who would make those stories up? Art Bell did send his camera crew to Mel's original hole, and there was sign of military presence there. But did Mel just maybe know about that and say, oh, this is my hole?
That's my hole.
But yeah, I think this is one of those cool stories where like it's Art Bell legend. It's Coast to Coast AM. I did just kind of hijack Josh's story because we were just talking about this the other day anyway. We're like, oh, blah, 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 that whole.
Yeah,
Oh.
we were just walking to get coffee, and then we realized we were talking about two different mystery holes.
Yeah. So if you have a mystery hole out there, a couple of these guys on this podcast are single, but this is what you think.